What do you think, Dan, before you came here, what did you think, if I said to you, what's the standard, what would you think?
What is the thing that happens most often?
Okay. It's interesting because I almost took from what you said is, what's the reasonable thing? Does that make sense?
It's fair to say.
Reasonable thing. And in many industries, including retail, your standards were well established, but mostly internal, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And it's interesting because in engineering, they are well established within engineering, but not internal to the company. And standards, the idea of standards is most simply described in making a widget. So let's say Dan and I both make a widget. Obviously, I make a better widget than he does, but still, we both make widgets, and they compete with each other. And there's another person over there that makes really bad widgets. We know that they make really bad widgets, and we tell people that they make really bad widgets. In fact, we go so far as to advertise together to tell people, you can buy one of our widgets, but really don't buy that guy's.
They're awful.
They're awful. What standards allows us to do is allows us to Dan and I and our industry to get together and say, hey, look, this is the minimums for building this widget. If it's below this, it won't meet the standard, which means we don't acknowledge it as being widget. Right?
It's a widget.
A widget, yeah. So we want it to be a widget. Here's your widget here. And if you buy a widget and it meets, and a couple of good examples, IP67 is an ANSI standard. IP ratings, 67 is just one rating, but that's for waterproofness. Other standards are for like shoe safety. What other standards that are relative to people normally? What does like a consumer see as a standard? Oh, I got one. But you come up with one. You have one?
I don't.
Car seats.
Oh yeah.
Car seats is easy. There are and cribs. In fact, one of the committees I'm on does the safety standards for cribs. Where what are you doing? You're setting a minimum standard for cribs. So if somebody goes out and buys a crib, they're going to see this crib that's a lot cheaper, but they're not going to go, yeah, but this is the minimum safety standard. This is the document that says, hey, in order to meet this document, they have to do X, Y, and Z. And in engineering, it's a very objective thing. In retail, they're much more internal standards, and it's actually one of our goals to help to bring the industry together to create some ASTM or ANSI consensus standards. And ASTM and ANSI are organizations that provide a governance for people like us to come together and say, hey, we want a standard that talks about how to test an airbags in a car. How to test tires to make sure that they're safe. Whatever that standard is, we want to come together, and a lot of times tightening up a market like that also increases safety and is good for the consumer. It raises the quality of products that you buy, and it also protects you from products that may be dangerous or services that may be dangerous. So yeah, standards are not really that much fun though. They're kind of a lot of work, and but then when they do come together, they remain pretty much not fun at all.
You should make a fun standard.
I should make a fun standard. Yeah, it would be making a video, which I think we're failing at making that fun too. But yeah, we'll have to think about that. So if you have suggestions on a standard that you'd like us to talk about, how to do something or how to build something, or what are the minimum standards for a tree fort, or a, I don't know, what is it called that that guy on YouTube does? The squirrel, that's it, the squirrel obstacle course. Standards for squirrel obstacle courses, something like that, right? What's the minimum standard for care of squirrels and attracting them to a backyard obstacle course? If you have any ideas, let us know in the comments down below, or contact us on our website. We'd love to try and do a video that is ever so slightly less dry and more funny than this one.
About squirrels.
About squirrels? Sure.